Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, welcome to my face. If any of you haven't seen it before, this is my face. So today I really wanted to just discuss with you something I've got going on at the end of August. Basically got into my first exhibition at gallery, at fair, since before COVID basically, and it's really important that I kind of start off well with this one, not because it's been such a long time since I've gone into one, but also I always think as any exhibition opportunity that this could be it. This could be the one that this could be the chance that somebody could spot me, and I don't want to say get picked up because it's kind of a different way to put it. Basically, in the art world there are several ways you can actually maintain your artist practice full time. One is through YouTube, obviously, but I'm not quite there yet. Another one is through regular selling through Etsy, eBay, if you get an audience through that and popularity. There's also exhibitions, and then there's also the gallery side of it, which is kind of what I'm primarily focused towards, because I feel like the other three aren't as financially stable as this one. It's basically when a gallery gives you a monthly bursary, kind of like a payment. You go away each month and you make and create your own art. It may not necessarily be your own art at the end of the day, because it's technically the galleries, because they've technically paid for it through payment, through a monthly payment. But for me, I think that's the clearest way to get there, outside of using YouTube. Obviously YouTube is just, for me, it's a nice way to get me into the studio, get myself into the artist practice, and also to keep motivation up, you know, because sometimes it's harder actually to be like, oh, I need to do this kind of print, and then before you know it, a month and a half is gone, and then you're just like, actually I've got a space next week, I need to make 2 videos for it because I've already filmed one. I'll do that, and then before you know it, you've done 3 videos each week, and at least that's something, rather than going through months of periods where you're not making any artwork. I hope that makes sense. So basically, all the chit chat out of the way, basically I'm going to show you today the possible artworks I want to include in this art exhibition. The exhibition is completely open. It was up to what you wanted to submit. It just had to be like why you wanted to submit it. So for me, it was the subtraction artwork / paintings that I've done over the last 4 years, I think it is. There is only a certain amount of space, so I can only submit so many works. The proposal was basically, this is the sort of artwork that I've done. Maybe I might create some more if it looks aesthetically pleasing enough, or it fits the solution or the space, because the space I've actually got is only 4 by 2, so it's not terribly small, but it's big enough for me to put 3 major artworks in. But I have to carefully consider which ones I need to put in, because I feel like they need to be the best portrayal, but also be quite visually interesting and contrasting. And with every single artwork, you've got to find the ones that balance. So one that I may think isn't my favourite, say it's a 4th favourite, it may actually go with number 1 or the 15th painting. It's just a way of trying to make them all visually stand out without them conflicting too much when they're actually on the gallery wall. Obviously this is a bit different from just going into the gallery, because my walls, for a start, are bright yellow, and the gallery's walls are white, which it's great, but I do have to keep that in mind. So the best case scenario is I have a plan A and a plan B. So I take plan A's artworks with me, and I take plan B's artworks with me. I get there and go, this doesn't work, this looks awful, then I don't have to travel all the way back to grab some artworks and then go all the way back again, and then just having a massive faff, should we call it, of trying to sort out the artworks onto the gallery wall. It's not necessarily just paintings that I wanted to do. I actually thought about putting through some of my printmaking, my mixed media printmaking prints. Of course they're prints. Because I thought if I had them on the side, because it is actually technically an art fair, so you're allowed to sell obviously your artworks which you don't take any commission from, yeah, but for now I want to focus on the 3 artworks that I'm going to be displaying. So the 3 of them that I've come down to at the moment are actually these 3 in the background. If I move that the way, I'll bring them up a bit closer. So I'll start off with the far right one. I'll bring them closer. Okay, so this is the first one. The reason why I actually wanted to submit this one first, it's because, well, for its size, it can stand really well by itself. And also because this is actually one of the paintings that I realised what subtraction art is. So for me, subtraction art is basically a limited palette of colours for any medium. At the moment, it's primarily oil paints. Don't know why, just seems to be at the moment. Where you use your subconscious to paint, draw, sketch, whatever you want to do. And through that subconscious, you can have memories pop up, or you can have your feelings or your mental state. This one happened to be a memory when I went to, I can't remember if it was a peak or lake district, which is very, very bad of me, but it was one or the other. So we went underneath this cavern, and it was so beautiful because even though it was man-made, like caverns, there was still elements of it that were natural and geological, like formations from the stalactites and stalagmites, which are like the little drop, like they kind of look like cones. I'm not 100% on the whole geology of it, but it was just fascinating. And I remember coming home the next day, this is when I lived at my parents' house, and I painted this, and then I sat back and I realised, oh, I've literally just done a memory. This is actually the main parts. So I remember you going up the stairs, and then you have a cavern on the left, a cavern on the right, and then you have this massive like arch, like I want to say pillar in the middle, and it was just there. Simple as. To some other people it might look like something completely different, but for me this is what it looks like. There are some artworks that I have no idea what they look like. I just really like them composition wise, and I think discussion with the artwork is what makes it more fun as well, because you're trying to dissect. You feel a bit like Sherlock Holmes, you're just dissecting everything and trying to make it look and trying to make sense of it. It's like trying to make sense of your own mind, basically. So this middle one is actually the rawest of them all, because when it comes to painting on canvas, it's very easy just to get carried away and just completely fill the whole thing. But I actually left segments of it because I thought it actually went really well with the colour palette. And not only did I do that, I basically chose to highlight sections of it so that it not only necessary would you see it, but you would also, it wouldn't stand out. It was part of the artwork rather than it just being like a, hi, look at this bit of canvas that I haven't painted. Wow, congratulations to me that I haven't actually like filled in the canvas. Again, limited palette is quite a straightforward one. With this one I've actually only done 1 or 2 coats. You can see here where I've only done like bits of it, where I've started to fill in and I went, no, I'll go back to a different part, and I've got bits where there is a little bit of mixture. There's only a couple of crossover lines compared to the other one, which I feel like was much more drawn out first before creating the composition. This one reminds me of a phoenix. I don't know if you could see it quite right. This is like the eye, and you've got the mouth opening with its tongue like going down, and you've got this like kind of like landscape with fire and wings just all over the place. I actually painted this one shortly after watching the entire series of Harry Potter. Basically my boyfriend hadn't watched it and I made him sit down and watch it with me. It was around Christmas, so I can let myself off for that one. So I think this one again is a memory one. Or, no, actually I would say subconscious, because there's not actually a scene where you see a phoenix flying through the air in exactly the same format. So I would say it is a subconscious painting, basically. Okay, and this last one, this is actually one of the, I think, first 4 artworks that I did to do with to do with subtraction. This one's a little bit different because it is portrait, where some of the others are actually more square, rectangular. I don't know if you can guess. You can kind of, well, I can guess because I know which one it is, but I like to start with shapes when it comes to subtraction, and I think you can kind of tell which shape I started with. It is this bright red line I just drew through the canvas. Underneath all my canvases, I forgot to mention, there are felled artworks which I literally just paint over in a acrylic paint, and I just start again. The aim of it is to just fill the canvas with your limited palette, and whatever shapes and forms pop up. Oh, what pop up? Oh, what pop. So this one is called Three People. The original title is in Spanish. I think it just looks a lot better than Three People, personally. I feel like it's quite Hispanic, not because of the colour combination, but because of how central it is. And they actually all are female. They're just female. I don't know why I started drawing ladies. I think maybe because I missed live drawing. Like, I did it all the way up until the first year of uni. I actually thoroughly enjoyed it, even though people sometimes cringe at it. It was always a very observational skill that I thought that was always useful. You know, after every single session, you come out of it and you go, I've actually learned something today. And yes, it's a form, a beautiful natural form. You do take away something from it. So I think in my head, it must have subconsciously come onto the canvas. I'll leave you to see where the three figures are, because that's part of the fun, that's part of the discussion. And for, like I said, for other people, it won't necessarily all be the same things that people see in the artwork. It's a bit like those ink diagrams that you see, that some people see death, some people see life, some people see a dog. It just depends on the person. And what I like about this one and the second painting is that it's very, what's the right word for it? Optional. I want to say optional is the right word, because it's not blatantly obvious what it is. It's more of a pick apart compared to the first one, which was purely memory. Lastly, but by no means least, I'm going to show you a couple of the prints that I have ideas for maybe putting up for sale, or even actually to be on, you know, the main exhibition, basically. And these ones are still subtraction drawings, subtraction artworks, but they are more to do with print and the printing process. So how I print is with a Perspex sheet, which is like this, and then I print onto a piece of paper which has either got previous marks on it, or is an artwork that didn't work out, or just for some reason it's not good enough to use in any other process. So with that, that's for the first part of the it is the first part of the process. You put it to one side, you let it dry, and then you do another process on top of it, either counting as being the first process or the second process. You either leave it to one side to let it dry, and if the composition is good enough, you just leave it. If not, you reprint on top of it. But this time you use the influence of acrylic paint, which is what these are, basically. So I'll find a couple. All these acrylic paints are actually meant to be wall paints. They're tester pots from Wilko, which I find absolutely amazing because they're only like £1.25. Just find it. Like this little pot here is £1.25. Ironically, it's the same colour as my wall. That was unintentional, by the way. They were £1.25 when I bought them. The pigment in them is absolutely astounding, so you can use it for your acrylic paints. I use it mostly for my printing inks and also for acrylic pouring as well. They last a long while. Like I said, they're extremely pigmented, more pigmented than most of my acrylic paints I've got. They do smell quite a lot because they are wall paints, so that's just something to note. But other than that, I could not rate them enough. I'll just show you a range of these and just let you decide on what one you prefer. So this is number one. It's just orange and blue mixed in. This is number 2. I don't think you can quite see it in the camera, but there is a bit of orange imprint onto there. It might be a reprint for this one, but I just thought I'd show you all the varieties, because some people like a lot of colour and some people just don't. I'll just hold it up to the camera because I think my face is just a bit shy. I think this one needs a bit of a reprint, but it's one of those things. I think that one's definitely a reprint. So basically with the acrylic paint, you just put it on the board, and then when you flatten it onto the surface, it just spreads about, because it's also partly water based. Then it just kind of reacts and make these wonderful kind of marks, especially with the last one I've just shown you, which is this one. You can see where I've lifted it up and I've just kind of used it to integrate together, basically. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video into a insight into basically what's happening at the end of the month. It also is an invite for anyone who wants to come see it live at the private view. Please pop in and say hello if any of you are in the northwest. It is in Chester. I will leave the address down in my description box, and also links to all my social medias and also my eBay selling account. I'll also leave the links to all my social medias and also my eBay selling account in my description box, which is where you'll find all my artworks, as also my eBay selling account, which is where you can find all my artworks, and also where to find them as well. If you have any questions, please leave in the comment section below. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If I've missed something out, I'm sorry, please comment down. It's very weird to do this face to face, but I thought it would be a bit more personal because it is an exhibition. There's going to be a lot more admin to do around before that time, and also a lot more theory bits and pieces, because I am doing a live talk on the Saturday. It's only about 15 minutes, but I can feel the nerves setting in already. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I shall see you guys next time. Bye for now.